Welcome, everyone, to the very first Winning in the Shadows Syndicate Session. I could not be more excited. We are going to pull back the curtain on how we operate and how a real betting syndicate operates. Our entire team is here, and we're going to lay out our mission, and we're going to make it very clear. We're going to set some goals. We're going to go over some very specific numbers, betting strategies. We're going to try and turn all you guys into millionaires. You heard that right. I'll break it down. Now, are all you going to be millionaires? I might have overshot that one a little bit, but we're going to show everyone how you can bet smart. We're going to get better at this. We're going to target some of the goals, and we're going to show you how we operate thinking about long-term profits. That's the biggest thing we want to get across to everybody about thinking long-term and not short-term. This isn't theory. This isn't like fake plays. These are plays we bet with our own money every single day, and today you're going to see exactly how we approach the game. So stick around, ask questions. It's really important to ask questions if something doesn't make any sense or it doesn't quite click. Ask questions. That is what we are here for, and that is what the show is. So let's take our betting to the next level. We've got a great show for everybody, and again, questions, feel free to ask, and we'll get to them as many of them as possible. So let's bring in the crew here. I got Dan joining us. We got Jim. We got Corbin. So can you turn $4,000 into $1 million? The answer is yes, you can do that. It is not easy, but we are going to show you how. So the monthly goal, this is the biggest thing that we want to get across to you guys. The monthly goal is 12%. So if you guys have been watching us for a while, you know that we do a bankroll reset at the end of each month. So what we do is we take however much money we won or lost, we set that as our bankroll at the end of the month, and then we reset and we move on with setting our unit size. So let's take a look at some numbers here. Monthly goal is 12%. Here's what we can accomplish if we do that. This is one of my favorite websites. It is a compound interest calculator website here. So you go in and we put in $4,000 and we leave it at 12% monthly and we set it at 5 years and we hit calculate, and you can see here that if we don't touch any of the money, if we don't pull any of it out, look at how much interest we can accrue, and you can turn your $4,000 into $3.5 million. Corbin, does that number sound attractive?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we always say, even if you do like half as well or something, it's still an excellent return. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Some of the keys to this, though, guys, are you can't be pulling money in and out of your bankroll. You got to let it just sit in there. So you can't have a big week, pull it out, and go party. You gotta let it sit there for a long time. I know it sucks when you build this bankroll up. Trust me, I've done it. I look at my bankroll and I go, man, I can't touch any of that. So another thing we were going to show you guys, we started with a bankroll of $10,000, and we made this spreadsheet, which, by the way, the spreadsheet is free in our Discord, the Winning in the Shadows Discord. You can download this and set it to however you want. So we started with $10,000, and after each week, we would do bankroll reset, and then we moved to doing a monthly bankroll reset, and that $10,000 is now $65,856 in just 91 weeks. So we're going to start talking about some of the betting strategies and the things that we can do here. Here's a chart I made for everybody. You can see what happens when you start with a really small bankroll, and as long as you don't take any of the money out, look at that. That growth is absolutely amazing. So, Nathan, how long should we sit before we are allowed to pull? I'm waiting till I get to my $4 million, or my $1 million. I'm not pulling it out at all. I get life happens, and everyone's different. In the end, it's your money. You can do whatever you want. My personal goal, I want to be a millionaire just off of the sports book. So that's my goal. But set your own goals.
Andy,
yes, Dan.
Andy, I would say too, it's really personal. You know what I mean? So like, as Andy's showing you the spreadsheet, he's showing how it's broken down for him. His goal is, hey, this is untouchable. This is the bucket of money that's my long-term bucket of money, right? I'm sure either you have a financial advisor or you look into finances yourself. So it's what type of bucket is this account? You know what I mean? Is this my rainy day fund, right? Is this my, oh shit, my car needs X amount of work done on it, and now I'm going to pull it out so I don't have to go into a savings account. It can really be what you want it to be, but when you want to see a larger return, you need to grow that bankroll so you are able to bet more, and a percentage of your bankroll would represent how much is in your account. If you're constantly pulling out of it, you're constantly only going to be able to grow it at that small, while still a great growth that you're seeing in that 12 months. Without a bigger bankroll, you're not going to be able to be having larger bets that you're putting in there. So it's really personal, I would say, right?
Yes, it absolutely is. Russell says, I'm 64. I got to find a way to do this less. Listen, we have very lofty goals. I cannot guarantee that we can do this like really fast. What we're trying to do is really hard, guys. The great Dave Mason comes on our show. He runs betonline.ag, and he tells us 99.5% of the accounts are negative. So not only are we trying to win, we're trying to win really big, and it's a really, really small amount of people that can actually do it. So listen, 5 years is our goal. That's the timeline we have set for yourself. And Russell, it's never too late to get started, Garth, what if the books limit us? Don't worry about it. Let's get to that point first, and then we'll try and figure it out. So let's keep moving forward here, guys. Can we do that with our plays? Well, history would say yes. I was a losing bettor. I'm venture to say all of us were losing bettors at some point in time. This is how we get started in the industry. You get your teeth kicked in, and then some people figure it out, and most people don't. So since we all started working together in 2023, we made 90 units. 2024, we made 127 units. And so for this year, we're already up 74 units. So can this be done? Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely can. We're going to show you how we do it, and we want you to come along on this journey. We're going to give you guys some promo codes. I mean, it wouldn't be a show without promo codes. So we're going to give you promo codes for 30 days if you want to try out a month, and we're going to give you promo codes for 365 days. That's going to be
and if you buy now, Andy, we'll throw in a free slap chop. Actually, no, that's not true.
Nice.
That's not true.
Nice.
That's not true. We don't have enough slap chops to throw them in, but maybe for some we'll put them in the mail. I don't know.
Aaron, I just started baseball, getting killed on my parlays. We're going to talk about this. We're going to help you out, Aaron. And honestly, Aaron, thank you for sharing that. We have to acknowledge our losses before we can get ready to win. So we'll go over some of that. We'll go over some of these strategies. So who are we? Well, we are winning in the shadows. We've all come together with the same goal, which is to be successful bettors. So one thing I wanted to do, and the guys don't know this, they haven't heard these. So I had ChatGPT make outlandish, crazy descriptions of these guys, like in the 90s. Like, if you guys remember the 1-900 numbers, where it was like, this guy, call him in for a 30-unit whale banger. Corbin, I'm going to start with you. Corbin is the court and pitch killer. Tennis, soccer, Corbin doesn't handicap them. He conducts them. He's broken more books than rackets, and he's been banned from more live markets than Messi scored goals. All right.
Okay.
Corbin, now tell everyone exactly who you are.
Yeah, not anything particularly exciting. I'm 26, English, so I'm different to everyone else that's here. I just work in IT, love sports, got into this 2022, I think, is when I started with Andy, so just before everyone else. Recently bought a house and just climbing the ladder, I guess. So
I love it. All right, Jim, you ready? You are
I'm dying.
The Cage Cash Machine. He doesn't just watch fights, he studies them like sacred texts. Jim has predicted split decision with eerie accuracy, found value in underdogs no one's heard of, and he once hit a 5-fight parlay during a commercial break.
That's pretty accurate.
I have nothing else to say about myself, really.
All right, Jim, tell everyone who you are.
No. Look, I have the same story that everybody else had. Started off as a losing bettor and got better, no pun intended. Specialized mostly in MMA. I own a martial arts academy that I've run for years, so I've been in martial arts forever. MMA is my main focus for sure. Some auto racing as well built in with that. Also have an auto shop where we restore cars. So, you take your passions in life and find a way to make money at them. I won't be betting on NBA and everything, but you'll see what I know from me.
All right, Dan, you are the Lacrosse locksmith. They call him the locksmith because once he picks a line, it's game over. Dan knows more about face-offs, defensive shifts, and midweek college totals than the sports book can even bother to price right. That's actually
That the last part was really true. Yeah, I don't know much about locksmithing, but the last part felt right, Andy.
All right, Dan, who are you?
No, actually, I wrote my own. It's
Now I can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good.
So I just can't help it. No, all joking aside, the funny thing is that the way that I got into sports betting, it was exponentially amazing and then exponentially awful. So actually, the first season that I ever had betting, I had an NFL season of the ages. Like I'm talking like 65%. Like I thought I could never have a loser. I knew everything about it. So I grew this huge bankroll. And then the next season came around and I got my absolute teeth kicked in. Guys, I lost the entire bankroll that I built and then some. And that's when I went back to the drawing board and said, man, how did that happen? I thought I was really good at doing this. Well, I'm really good at doing this in a small sample size, right? Whenever you start growing it out, when you're trying to beat markets like the NFL, like the NBA, hell, even like MLB, you always have to take that bird's eye view. So after I lost that bankroll, I really was like, how can I rebuild this up? And then the Premier Lacrosse League came around and betting for that was available. And I had that similar, just amazing run in it. And then I was like, man, I think that this could be the thing, right? If I have the discipline to bet pizza money everywhere else for entertainment, because I'm not going to lie, I'm a sports bettor through and through. I'm going to bet if I'm watching a game, but you can do it responsibly and maybe have a different pool. So went a little high, went a little low, found lacrosse, and I said, I can continually build my bankroll betting this as long as this is where I'm making 4%. 5% bankroll plays, not in NFL, not in NBA, not in MLB. And then we just kind of hooked up, Andy, because it was something that you did. And since that point, we've just been rolling ever since then. Like 2-3 years that we've been cooking together.
Absolutely. All right. They call me the Kingpin. He doesn't just run the syndicate. He is the syndicate. The
Also
Kingpin
fair.
doesn't check the lines. The lines check with him. So that was a good one. Who am I? Well, I started a video production company. I produce TV shows for a living since I graduated college. I got into sports betting. Golf was my first sport that I started betting. COVID happened, and a couple of the first sports that came around were NASCAR and golf. And WagerTalk was like, does anybody know anyone that handicaps golf and NASCAR? And a buddy of mine was like, yes, I do. So I was terrible at first, hooked up with these guys, and now we're doing really well. I guess the point is, we don't have the sexiest of lives. We're just kind of, average working guys that come together to build a really, really great team. And this is who we are. We don't pull any punches. We're going to be completely honest with you and transparent about who we are as people and our record as far as wins and losses. So we just believe in being honest and authentic with you guys. So that's kind of why we wanted to do this little introduction. So, all right, let's move on here. Just a quick recap in 2025, because I know we got some all-access clients in here. We're up 74 units, 476 wins, 353 losses, 57.4% win rate. It's important that our win rate stays above 57%. We lay more juice than the average person. So a lot of people, you'll hear 54% or 55%. That's if the lines are at minus 110. We lay a little bit more juice, so we know our percentage needs to be up. As long as we're above that 57%, we're going to be really, really profitable. So we bet on some pretty obscure markets. So Corbin, I'm going to go to you first. Tell us about some of the current markets that we in. So when people, get our plays, they know, hey, we're not playing the things that you guys are used to, and why it's so important to take advantage of these markets.
Yeah, we're completely different to everyone else. We, as you mentioned, we lay juice, particularly me, probably more so than anyone else. I'm fine laying all the way up to minus 200, really. If I think it's going to win, I don't care. I care what the price is, but to a degree. If I think this person is really likely to win, I don't care if she's minus 175, minus 200. Because it's going to win. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as it comes through. Current markets, we do parlays, or me specifically, I do more parlays than anyone. I'd say about 90% of my plays are probably parlays. Cover a variety of sports. We do soccer, darts, tennis, motorsports. It kind of varies from each sport to sport, but parlays is kind of where I live particularly. So
And let's listen, parlays. This drives me nuts. What does everyone hear? What are we always told? No, parlays are for losing bettors. And what do we always say? No, it's not that you parlay. It's what you parlay. So Corbin, like, I don't know, give us some examples of just some like soccer and tennis plays that you're interested in that you've found success over the years.
yeah, so soccer wise, I like stats more than I like things with like security. So rarely will you see me pick a football or soccer team to win. The chances are it will be like a draw no bet or like an Asian line of like +1, which basically means that I give myself that margin. It's something that I like to happen. So I'm a Man City fan. So say I like us to win, I take draw no bet Man City, and that gives me the margin. If something goes wrong, they can still draw the game, and I will still come out good. Basically, I like betting on corners. I like stats. I like historical data. Not so much like I don't like year-old data, but like a last like 2-3 months data combined with parlays and stats is kind of where I'm at. So.
Jim, you and I love doing UFC, and I am now convinced that you are the best PFL bettor on the planet. I've never seen anybody at the hit rate that you have. Your goal was 70% this year, and it's more than achievable. So tell us a little bit about the sports that you love betting.
Well, again, it's mostly MMA, and what you're going to see. I'm glad Corbin went into the mentality behind his bets, because with me, you're not going to see really statistics. I think that mixed martial arts isn't exactly a sport that you can just go off statistics at certain weight classes. I trust my eyes. I trust what I see. We also trust a lot of narratives outside of the cage, and that has been an absolute moneymaker that is not baked into the line. The books are not accounting for a fact that somebody just had a newborn baby and now they have to get into an MMA fight. These are just things that we like to target, and target big when we're ready. PFL is an absolute cash cow. You do not have to like the product to make money on it. It is not run as well as UFC. Sometimes, as Andy will attest, it is impossible to find out where to watch it. Okay. But the fact is, if you can hit 70% in any sport, that's where you should be betting. If it's Ukrainian dodgeball, it doesn't matter. If you can hit 70%, bet that. So that is where my focus lies, more so in those two. It's just the style in which we bet MMA too. You'll see a mix. It is very much by feel and how we're doing, and we're absolutely killing MMA this year. Off to probably, I would say, our best start that we've had in a couple of years with MMA.
Yeah, we started off #1 at WagerTalk this year. We haven't relinquished that, so really proud of that. Dan, your focus is in lacrosse, but you do other sports as well. So tell us about some of the markets that you're taking advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, lacrosse is the big one for sure. Lacrosse is really the only plays that I submit here for what we do. And I'm all about, like spots, and I'm really about pricing. Like typically once I start getting around like 135, 140, that's where I start cutting off. And that's why it's nice, because we all have a different approach. You know what I mean? These guys are a little bit more a little bit more willing to lay juice than I typically am. And what I like doing is spot stuff. I mean, information stuff. I think this past year we had a fade on Penn State because I have, connections in the lacrosse world who told me, hey, by the way, like 6 guys on Penn State have mono. And that's not in the line. You know what I mean? That's not information that's out there. There isn't beat writers reporting on every single what somebody had for breakfast like they are in the big leagues. So information driven, numbers driven, and really history driven for me, especially when it comes to the Premier Lacrosse League. We love betting dogs because historically in Premier Lacrosse League dogs blindly cash above 57, near 60% of the time. So, I'm already trying to make a case for dogs. So all about plus money, all about good prices, all about, having information that maybe others don't have. And that's the advantage that we have betting lacrosse.
Yeah, I started off with golf. That was the first sport that I really did well in. Then I got into betting on NASCAR because My wife's dad raced sprint cars for a living. I found out he actually knew all the drivers personally, and we started crushing it. If you guys remember the days of 5 dimes, yeah, those were great days, and I missed that. I missed that website terribly. Props, I would say, is probably what I'm known for right now. We do Formula One, we do NASCAR. I think I went and looked. I think we've bet on 14 different sports this year, and that's the biggest key, and that's the thing I really want to get across to you guys. We're not betting spreads and totals on baseball. We're digging deep into the different props and the obscure ones, because if you're trying to make money off of, like Dan said, an NFL spread, the books have way more information than you can possibly have. I will tell you right now, the books do not have as much information and knowledge about PFL than Jim does. That's just a fact. Corbin knows more about some of these obscure tennis players than the books will ever know and care to know about, because there's just not that much money that's bet on them. And that's the biggest thing. If you can find the markets that the books are not paying attention to, and there are a ton of them that are out there, that's how you can make money. It's really, really important to dig really, really deep into these. If you're trying to beat the books on plays that the lines are just perfect and you have no advantage on, you are going to get smoked. It's happened to all of us. And until you find those markets, and this is why we all kind of came together, is we all realize this and we all do it. I mean, what other group is going to give you lacrosse, darts, PFL, cricket, any of these sports? But that's where the money is to be made. New markets for us moving forward. This is the beautiful thing. There's always new markets. It's 2025. There are new books that open and come into states, but these books are constantly adding new markets to take advantage of. I mean, I live in Indiana. I have a ton of, domestics. Every week I log in, Corbin will test this. Every week I log in, there's a new market in golf that just didn't exist.
Beautiful.
It's great because they'll throw these markets up and the lines are not dialed in. So I will tell everyone, for all access clients, you've probably already realized this. Team totals is now a big, big focus, and we went 3-0 in our baseball team totals this week. So for me, team totals is how I got started in college football, and guess what? We're hitting 66% of those the last 2 seasons. So that is a market that I want to exploit, because it is nobody's doing it like at this level. The limits are high. That's the other nice thing. You can get limited pretty quick on obscure props. Team totals, this is going to be a big thing for ourselves and all access clients. So Dan, are there any new markets that have popped up that you've seen over the last year or so?
I mean, definitely just the availability of player props. Like when we were just first starting betting college lacrosse, think about, we didn't have player props. We have first half totals, things like that, especially when it starts coming in. So just the availability on some of these things, like for Premier Lacrosse League this summer, we have a bet on the Carolina Chaos not to make the playoffs. Before it was, you could bet, just teams to win the championship. So all of the markets that you see in big leagues are starting to come into these fringe leagues, because as long as they can book it, as long as they can, get some kind of handle on it, the books are going to put it up, and they're starting, in my opinion, to spread themselves a little bit thin. And that's where we kind of come in, trying to take advantage of that stuff.
Jim, any new markets? I guess one of the things is just the different formats of PFL. And,
that really changed. The non-tournament format of PFL has turned it. I wouldn't say it's hurt us. I think we're still got a favorable first round matchup done. I believe through the first round we ended up being 6-2 at the end of the first round, somewhere around there. So listen, first round's in the books. We had some really good plus money bets as well. So there's no new markets. What there is new leagues. So I'm really interested in what these books are going to do with the low level of MMA. It is so hard it's so hard to be great every night. It is very easy to be bad every night. And in these lower level promotions, people are bad every night. And there's so much money to be made. But the access on the books has been the tough spot. Bet365 has been something that's been taken in new markets. Even FanDuel. I saw a couple Cage Warriors lines. So keeping an eye out for these lower market fights. And maybe you can steal one fight on one of those cards as a parlay piece, which is just a lamb to slaughter, and just make your money that way off of them.
Corbin, what new markets have you seen? You're the king of finding these new markets.
Yeah, there's
You
so
found
many.
things
So
I've never heard of. You
I,
have.
I'll try and keep it short. Golf was the big one. I think that last year they brought out round scores, players to make a certain amount of bogeys, pars, birdies, round one matchups. That's been great this year. Really looking to ride that. Darts, it's averages. When they bring out those average props for the World Championships, I'm like a kid at Christmas. My eyes just light up, and it's firing time. Stats in tennis, when you get the ones that's like so many minutes for a first set, how many points are going to be played, someone's first serve percentage. I love those kind of things. Stats in soccer, you get offsides, corners, shots on target. All of this stuff is right in my wheelhouse. I love it. MotoGP, they're bringing out more MotoGP lines every single week. There's matchups to finish in the top 3, 5, 10, whatever it is. So that's great. And then new leagues like Baller League. I've mentioned it in our Discord for the last like 12 weeks plus. It's a 6-a-side tournament here in the UK, where they have celebrities kind of managing it and like 6-a-side players. The lines have been so soft, it's unreal. As people will know, we've had a guy that scored in every single game so far. And up until recently, he was still like minus 200 to score every week. It's just,
Yeah.
that's when I say that I don't mind about juice. If I have a minus 200 that's hit all 12 weeks, it doesn't matter that it's minus 200 because it's still winning. That's probably the new markets for me.
Absolutely. And Garth says hitting 62% this season in Aussie rules. That's no joke. He's been posting all of his plays in our Discord with write-ups. It's been exciting, and that's what we created the Discord for. People to come in, put their plays in, show us some of their write-ups, and get better as a community. If you guys are enjoying this content, you're going to love our Discord because we have so many different sports. We have a volleyball thread. We have a handball thread. You name a sport, we've got a thread, and people are doing really, really good work. So if you're looking to get better and take your gambling career to the next level, join the Discord. I'll put the link in the description and in the comments section. So, all right. Max says, "Man, I just hate betting parlays." Listen. Every year that we've bet at WagerTalk, we've turned a profit on parlays. We're number one by far. And again, I think people expect what a parlay would be. Oh, parlay a couple of NFL teams on the money line. That's a great way to blow through a bankroll. It's a perfect way. We mentioned baseball earlier. I never put any daily sports in parlays. MLB, NHL, NBA. It's just too volatile of a market long term. We just think you're going to get blasted. So any parlays that we have, it's going to be sports that are like once a week, or teams that only play a couple times a week. So, and we do the obscure ones. They're not things that are going to be, I think I had a UFC and a lacrosse parlay. That'll throw the algorithm off for the books. So
I think the most important thing to mention as well is it's not like we're throwing 3 or 5 plus money options together. Like some of our me particularly, I'll have a minus 300, a minus 500, and a minus 900 or something to make it playable. Like we're taking things that are more likely to happen than just putting together who knows what and hoping it comes good. So
absolutely. So, okay, now let's talk a little personal responsibility here. I always say that the best way to make money is to not lose it, and I will tease you all with this. Let's say you have a very successful handicapper that makes 100 units in a year. Awesome, right? Let's say once a week they make one bad play at 2%. Let's say they bet 2% of their bankroll, and every week they make that one crucial mistake. That 100-unit winning handicapper is now negative. That's how razor thin the margins are. Every unit, every half unit counts. And I want to go back to this. I want to go back to the compound interest because on this plan, look at where all the money's made. It's not in year one. Year one is just a grind. You're just making little bits. Year two, okay, you're getting a little bit better. It's this year 4 and 5 that where your bankroll is just much bigger. If you make all the mistakes at the beginning, you're just never going to have your bankroll up that big. I will guarantee every single one of you, if you stop doing these, your bankroll is going to get bigger. There's no locks in this business. These are locks. You get these out of your life, you're going to be good. Chasing losses. How many of us have done this before in our lives? Like, you go on a losing streak. What do? You try and get it all back. If you're on a losing streak and instead of going all in, you pull back, your bankroll is going to be much, much better. We hit 57%. That means we lose 43% of the time. Losing streaks are going to happen. It's how do you navigate this? I really, truly think that 2025, the betting market is as smart as it's ever been. Everybody can go on a winning streak. How do you handle the losing streak? Get rid of chasing losses. If you're going on a bad streak, take a few days off. Take a week off. Whatever you do, don't put more money into it. You get rid of that, your bankroll is gonna be better. Drunk betting. How many of us have been hammered, woke up the next morning and was like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Oh man. Yeah, we put our plays in, and then that's it. Like, you're out with your buddies getting hammered. How many of us have pulled out of our phones and thrown in a same game parlay on the NBA game? Just get rid of that. I will guarantee you stop doing bets when you're hammered, your bankroll's going to go up. Long shot parlays. Boy, aren't these sexy to look at, Dan, on social media? Aren't these like... they're
those
the
totally
best.
real tickets that aren't fake, dude. They're totally real. It's everyone's hitting them with regularity, right?
Yes, yeah. Long shot parlays. I did these. I was like, this is great. I only need to hit one. And then after you go 0 and 100, and you realize you've just gone through 30 units on these little long shot parlays, there is a reason why the books post these. There's a reason why a book, like, oh, check out this guy, bet $5 and won $10,000. There's a reason they want these little paper cuts that just destroy your bankroll. If you stop doing long shot parlays, again, I'm going to guarantee that your bankroll is going to get better. Just get it out of your system. You're not going to hit the big one. Sprinkles. I'm just going to sprinkle it, Jim. I got a value play. I'm just going to sprinkle it. How many sprinkles do we hit? None?
Well, definitely, if it's not a live play, yeah, you're not hitting any of them. If you're waiting until game time to make a decision on a bet, and you're watching it and you just say, I'm going to sprinkle Kansas City, you didn't have serious intentions about placing that bet, and you didn't do any research, and you don't know what you're getting into. And it's the same with everything. We don't throw plays at each other 10 minutes before they start unless we see a mistake. There has to be a mistake. Like, we'll get a last minute, Dan Lacrosse play, and it's gold because it's late information. It's breaking information. But just to have a sprinkle, just read these backwards. Have a sprinkle on a long shot parlay while you're drunk and chasing. There's your counseling, betting community.
Very good.
This is how we lose money.
This is very, very well said. So, yeah, the sprinkles and the long shot parlays are out of there. And then betting too much. Guys, I've watched people blow through bankrolls who are winning bettors because I have a good friend who absolutely has nuked his bankroll multiple times. Why? Because he's just betting too much. You have to have the discipline to not bet a lot. And I know we got a question about how do we do the percentages. I'm going to go ahead and go over that, but you can't bet too much. You absolutely can't. As enticing as a play may seem, as a big of a lock that it is, you have to remember we're thinking about a 5-year plan. We're not thinking about a Saturday plan. We don't care what happens on Saturday. We care what happens over the week, over the month, over the year, over the 5 years. And you got to know that we're going to have hundreds of bets. Sometimes we have hundreds of bets just in 1 month. It's one bet. You cannot bet too much on it. You can't have too much of your bankroll, especially if you're going on cold streaks. So if anything, can I plead with you guys? If you guys get rid of chasing losses, drunk betting, long shot parlays, sprinkles, and betting too much, I'm guaranteeing your bankroll is going to go up. Your bookie and your book are not going to be very happy with you because this right here is how they make all that money. So if we get rid of those, we're going to be in a much better place. So those are mistakes that we made. Dan, any other mistakes that you can think of that you've made?
No,
that we've
no,
made?
I think the sprinkles category is one that I fall into. I said it at the top of something that a game's on TV. You want to have a little bit of something on it, right? I think a better way to do it is, hey, if you're at some buddies with the bar, make side bets with them, as opposed, that's coming out of your literal wallet, not out of your bankroll. You know what I mean? And you're looking at your app and oh, this is actually like a minus 300 play. Like we always used to have this UFC party back when I was really into UFC, and everyone it was just straight up, I'll take this fighter, I'll take this fighter. And I was the only one who knew sports betting. So I was on every single favorite, and I would make a killing at these parties, right? Because these people were like, oh, I'm going to take this dude's like a plus 700 dog. And I'm like, yeah, straight up $20 bet. You know what I mean? So there's ways to still have fun, ways to still get around it. Or like I said at the top, Andy, have your sprinkle account. That's your mess around money. Like this is, your instead of going to the movies that week, all right, that's maybe your $20 parlay or whatever, but don't have it be coming out of this bankroll, or your bankroll is going to be depleted before you know it.
It's too important. Think about 1% of a sprinkle per week, and let's say you could be down 20 units at the end of the year. And again, it's just too important. So, Jim, any other mistakes that you can think of?
Well, I can't overstate enough of what Dan just said. Having that responsibly, and I think that really is the crux of where people make their mistake. Right there, you nailed it, man. It's you have your serious money, and if you know you're going to bet your own plays, and you're going to sprinkle it, just play it really, 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 really tiny if you have to. Yeah. At least get that itch out. But man, when you don't play them, it's great to see that extra money. It just came across the idea. I always want to wake up the next day with close to the same amount that I had, right? If I don't wake up a loser, I don't have to be impatient. If I'm up just a little bit and you stack those wins, you're going to be better off in the end. And if you have a losing day, it's okay. Do not panic. Do not panic. It's one day. One day. You want to tell everybody how many months out of the year you have to be profitable?
Oh, yeah. So
if you're guaranteed to lose.
Yeah, so 60% of your bets, that means you're going to lose 5 months out of the year.
Think about that. It's one day.
Yeah. And Andy, one thing I'll say too is, think about how good it feels like you win a bet when you don't place one and it loses. Right? When you don't place a bet, and it is, it's twofold, because a lot of the time you're like 100% of the bets that I don't place are the ones that win. But some of the absolute best bets that you will ever make in your life is saying, you know what? I don't love this. I'm going to pass on it. And then when it loses, I would rather be bemoaning missing out on a winner than I went all in on a play that I didn't love. And now, I lost a chunk of my bankroll because of it. So I think knowing when to pass and having to underscore what Jim was just saying there too, you need to have willpower. And if you know that you don't have willpower, you need to have some different buckets to dip into. You need to know thyself, Andy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to get into the difference between flat betting and winning percentages. And again, we're going to have some promo codes at the end. We invite you guys to jump on board with either 30 days or 365 days. No, it's a big investment. So if you want to talk about it, you can reach out to me on Discord or on email. I actually met up with a guy in person who lives here in Indianapolis. He wanted to talk about investing long-term a little bit. So feel free to reach out. Like I said, I know it's a big investment, but it's really important. We have faith in our product. We've got short-term results. We've got long-term results. So, Corbin, do you have any mistakes that we haven't covered?
I got 3 quick fire ones. The first one applies to me probably the most. It's parlaying too much of the same thing. I've mentioned it before. I love parlays. Most of my plays are parlays. What I can't do, which I have done previously before I've mentioned, is throwing the same one leg in 10 different plays.
Anchor plays.
That's a big... Yes, exactly. Next one is overconfidence, thinking you know more, or just because you're hot, putting in more plays at that time. You're on a 10-0 run, you think you're the bee's knees, and then it all comes crashing down because you decided to place extra bets that you didn't mean. And then also, when you're considering a play, don't just look at the positives of a play, look at the negatives. look how this play could lose. There could be 100 reasons why a play should win, but also look at how or why it might not win. You got to look at it from both sides of the coin. So,
Love it. Very, very well said. Okay, flat betting versus betting different percentages. This is a hot topic in the industry, and in particular at WagerTalk, where all of our plays are. This is a huge discussion behind the scenes. I myself moved to flat betting about a year and a half ago, and I love it. I have faith that all of us are going to be up at the end of 30 days. We said 12% a month is if I just bet the same amount on each play, I just believe we're going to be up at the end of the month. Why? Because we've turned a profit in 15 out of the last 18 months, which is truly astounding. That's an astounding number to do. We talked about like winning 60%. You're going to lose 5 months out of the year. So I just know at 30 days, I'm going to have a winning record with myself, with Dan, with Jim, with Corbin, and with Yann. And so I want to bet the same amount. Me personally, I bet 2% of my bankroll on every play. I have found that works good for me. I don't like the huge swings. I don't like the roller coaster ride, and I know that enough about my personality. This can be different for anybody, but I would really not recommend going over 2% or 3% of your bankroll. A lot of syndicates and stuff will say you're a half unit or a 1 unit. Our margins are higher. Our winning percentage is higher because we do bet the obscure stuff. If you're just betting the minus 110 money lines, yeah, your winning percentage is going to be lower, so you have to be a lot more careful. 2% of my bankroll on pretty much everything. Super confident plays, I will go to 3% of my bankroll. It's pretty rare that I do that. It's worked good for me. It works good for my personality. And honestly, at the end of the year, I did the math. It's about the same. At the end of the year, there's really not that much difference. But for me personally, flat betting, it works out great for me. Corbin, though, has a much different personality than I do, and he's got a little bit of a different betting strategy. So Corbin, talk about the betting percentages of plays.
yeah, before I get there quickly, because we've had so many comments on this in the past, whilst we're talking on the flat betting side, so Andy, just to clarify, you do the same amount. You don't do it to win a certain amount. You just put a certain amount, right? Or do you
Put
do
a
it to
certain
win?
amount on. Yes. So if my bankroll's
So obviously your
$10,000,
payout, if it's plus 100, will be different to if it's minus 200.
Correct.
That's the first thing. And then the WagerTalk units are done on to win. So where it's a 2%, it's to win 2%. If it's a plus money play at plus 150, it's 2% at plus 150. So you get slightly more. I thought I'd just mention that. I love betting different percentages because I look at the plays and I go, this play is not equal. I like this one way more than another one. If I like a play for 1%, there's a reason it's 1%. It's not that I don't think it's a bad play. I still like it. But again, I talk about margin for error. The margin for error on a 1% play is way different to me than a 3 or 4%. I.e., if I'm just trying to think of an example we all know, if Islam Makhachev is fighting your next door neighbor and it's minus 110, I want that as a 5% play. I want to win 5% on that. If he's fighting, I don't know, if he's fighting Habib tomorrow, then I don't want, and I still like it. I'm not going to put 5% on that. It's all about how much I like the play. I work the percentages. So a play that I like twice as much is like a 1.5 to 3. I kind of math it all out so that the plays I like the most, I win way more, basically. The one thing I kind of like flat betting is the daily sports. Now, if I'm going to bet NHL, NBA, all these kind of daily sports, I will just I have a set amount that I will put on all of them because they're daily sports. I think there's so much more variance in daily sports as opposed to the weekly sports. I don't want to mess around trying to work out what team's going to do what on a given day each day. So I would flat bet that. But my tennis, UFC, F1, they're all different percentages based on who I like the most, basically.
The biggest thing is be consistent. Pick what works best for you and do it over and over and over. The second you start trying different strategies is the second it all goes wrong. So you have to know what you want and what your personality is. But yeah, so that's flat betting versus the betting different percentages. Corbin, let's talk the Bet365 Syndicate. This is brand new. So Shane already had a question about this, and we'll go over this for clients. But talk to us about Bet365, why it's such an important tool to have if you have access to it. But it's only available in 12 states, but it is available in Europe and Canada. So, Corbin, tell us a little bit about what Bet365 is, why it's so important if you have access to it, and what this account is.
Yeah, this has been a dream of mine since the first day I started. Quite honestly, Andy will attest to this. The amount of times I have said, "Do you have this bet? Do you have this league? Do you have this sport?" And he's like, "No, no, no." Bet365 has so many more options. We mentioned it at the start. More options leads to more variance, which gives you more opportunity in my mind. So me and Jim are primarily doing the Bet365 Syndicate. It's going to be a separate page completely. Bet365 have better lines. We've seen it already since we started. There's plays where Andy's had -170 and we've had like -105. There's just everything, just better lines on Bet365. You get parlay boosts. So where I mentioned, again, these aren't plus money plays. These aren't just random parlays. They're -2, 3, 4, 5 or higher parlay pieces together to get you to around -150 is below. And they add the more legs you add, so if you add a minus like 5,000, you get an extra 5% payout, and it goes up. So that's really helpful. Early payouts. We've seen it. This NBA.
This is insane. This is
the
insane.
NBA playoffs. I forgot the exact number, but NBA games, if you're up by, is it 30 points? I think they
20.
pay out 20 points. So we've already seen it with the Celtics, the Knicks, at multiple points. You could have had the wrong side and still won, which is great. More sports and markets. This is the key one. We look at any sport. We look at Jim's NASCAR. He'll touch on this in a minute, I'm sure. There's more matchups. They have MotoGP. They have more matchups, podiums. On soccer, we have offsides, more corners, total shots. The options are so much higher, and it's such a great opportunity. So if you're an all-access client, you probably will have got an email about this, letting you sign up. Highly recommend, if you have Bet365, at least try it out, because my God, is it a good book. I'll pass it to Jim to just mention on his side of it.
I mean, look, if you can get Bet365 in your area and you don't have it, it's time to step up and get it. It is so worth it. It's so worth it. You're doing yourself a disservice. MMA-wise, you have options. The biggest thing that you can take away from what Corbin just said is you have options across all sports. You have alternate round totals. I mean, I could go down the list of everything that is, but the fact is they just give you more. They give you more. And when you add this many markets, you find errors in the markets. Because like we were saying, I forget it was Andy or Dan who said it, that the books are spread so thin already, and you're going to bring a book in that's going to give you all the accessory options to put together a great little two-leg parlay, or just find a number that you think is absolutely dead wrong. They give you so many more options in auto racing as well. You know, you don't want to bet on outrights. Okay, outrights in auto racing is not the way to go. It's the hardest thing to predict. But you get these soft matchups, these guys to finish in a stage ahead of somebody. You get the part-time racing driver that is racing and is popular on the news you get to bet against. It's just a really, really good way to diversify yourself and expand your bankroll. I can't wait to see I got to look at Lacrosse now, because of all the knowledge from Dan here. I'm dying to know what are they going to have for Premier League? What are they going to have? What do we got? So 365 is a good thing to add in, guys. Come on, join us.
So the main account, my account, you're going to get all of Dan's plays, you're going to get Jim's plays, you're going to get Corbin's plays, and you're going to get Yann plays. This Bet365 is different. If you're an all-access client, 30 days or more for all of our plays on the Andy Lang account, you have the option to add this if you're in a state that has these plays. If you're not, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. We hope to see more states being added to it. But once it got to double-digit states that have it, then we decided to add it. So
yeah, one of the key things as well, we mentioned parlays, the amount of alt lines that Bet365 give you on any sport. I mean, Andy discovered it the other week with F1. You can take like 5 drivers to get to Q3 that nearly always do it at a great price.
Yeah.
You can't get that anywhere else. So
no, it's really good. So if you're in a state that has it, now I will say this, just going to be honest, they'll limit you pretty quick here in the States. Don't go big on some of these plays. You have to exercise a lot of caution. They're quick to limit. So we already have a winning record on this one.
Yeah, at the minute we're just starting out with 1.5% plays. We're not going too crazy just yet. So
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that is available to all access client. All right, promo code time, and then we're getting out of here, guys. Listen, we've shown you long term, we've shown you short term, so we do want to run some specials for you guys here. Normal price for 30 days is $299. If you just want to try 30 days, I listen. We talk about 3-day passes and 7-day passes. I always say this: you give us one night. I don't know if we're gonna win or not. I hope so. You give me 3 days, maybe 7 days. Start to like our chances. You give us 30 days. I think we're gonna do well for you guys. 15 out of the last 18 months, we've been profitable. So I always recommend if you want to try us out, just get 30 days. So you can use the promo code THANKS30. And that knocks $100 off. You get 30 days for $199. That's all of our plays. If you're looking for more long-term investment, this is passive income for you guys, is you take your bankroll, you follow our plays, and now you've got a small business that hopefully turns into a bigger one. You can use the promo code THANKS365, $99 per month for 365 days. So again, these are all plays that we bet with our own money. This is how we've built our bankroll. This is how I build my personal bankroll. So hopefully you guys are able to take advantage of it. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I can't harp on this enough. I know it's a big investment, but when you look at the potential money and the potential profits that are out there, it's really not that bad. I run a video production company. I tell the story. Someone was like, "Wow, that's expensive for a year's pass." I spent $6,000 one day on a couple lights. Jim, you run a karate studio. You're a small business owner. You run an auto shop. Wouldn't it be amazing if $1,200 was all we had to spend on a small business? Wouldn't that be amazing?
And like for months, yes. Months. We do that daily.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you guys are out there working, you do it daily. So invest in your future.
Hey, Dan, can we pull up JW's comment? Who says don't gamble?
No, this is perfect. It says I completely agree. Don't gamble, people. It's a sucker's game. That's why we're talking about taking an investment approach. We're not talking about gambling. Gambling is assuming that you're already counting in that, oh yeah, I'm going to lose. Like, yeah, okay, your best plays will lose 50% of the time, but that's why you manage your bankroll. That's why, you can scroll back up to where it says don't drunk chase, don't go crazy. That's gambling to me. What we're talking about, and the way that we approach this is investing and having an investment approach and finding a way to make your money work for you. So I completely agree. Don't gamble, kids. You know what I mean? Unless you take out the money before you go to the casino and you're going to go on a blackjack heater with your boys at the table, then have a little bit of fun. Then do a little bit of gambling. But no, I think a great point by JW and Andy. I think what you offer and what I always enjoyed was, I watch all the stuff that we bet? No. But I know that, month after month, I wake up and I have more money in my accounts than when I started. And if you are serious about it, I believe that you can do the same, but you have to have willpower. You have to have discipline. And, we're just 4 guys who we want our bankroll to be bigger. You know what I mean? We just happen to have the platform to try and help other people. And I take that platform seriously. And I think all of you guys agree that we don't just do it because we're trying to shice you, because no, I want to beat the bookie. I want you to beat the bookie because I want us all to beat the bookie. That's what I love about what we do, guys.
Yeah.
Andy, can I answer just one question before you move on? For Danny, I don't know if you can pull it up, but he's basically asking about different. Yeah, there we go. The first thing I will say is once you learn these sports, it's remarkable how little time it takes. I.e., F1 every week. How it takes us 2 minutes to know what's coming up in F1. We look at the golf, we know what's coming up. I look at tennis matchups. I don't get me wrong, I will research them, but I know instantly that this player sucks and this player's good, and I don't need to spend an awful long time. But that's also why we're doing the legwork. Between the 5 of us, think how many different sports. I don't know anything about lacrosse. I don't know anything about
cricket. I don't
exactly,
care.
but that's how we specialize in so many sports, is because there's multiple of us and we do the legwork for you, so you don't have to. That's half the point, is we're saving you time as well.
Yeah,
and then
it's a great point, Corbin. It's a really good point about passive income. And what's better than making money on a sport that you're not watching? You're making money while you're not
exactly
working.
it all counts the same. Do you look back in a year's time and go, God darn it, I made $100 off cricket? Like, you forget it all goes into one. It's just the pot. You don't have to watch it, you don't have to have any interest in it. Money just counts the same at the end of the week. So
don't be scared, you might like it.
Yeah, exactly. Sport. Who knows?
I love lacrosse. I watch tennis now.
Andy, before we shut things down, to underscore the don't gamble aspect of what we do, for our viewers and live viewers who are in New Jersey, I'll be real quick with this one, Andy, because I have something for you that's not a gamble, and it probably won't be available for long. CJ Kirst points. If you are in New Jersey, you can bet CJ Kirst over 4.5 points at plus 136 at FanDuel, and on DraftKings, you can bet CJ Kirst under 5.5 points for 135. That is what we call an arbitrage, so to speak, and you got 10 cents that you're guaranteed to get. And you might also have him end up with 5 points, land in the middle, and you cash both of your bets there. So, Andy, not a gamble. A guaranteed thing. CJ Kirst will go over 4.5 points or under 5.5 points. One of those will happen, and you can cash in on it. There's a free ARB for you, Andy. That's what we do.
Free money.
I love it. Great question. Where can we find out? We are at WagerTalk.com. So you go to WagerTalk.com, click on Andy Lang, and use the promo code there, shortcut WT.buzz/AL, and you get not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 of us. So this is what we do for a living. This is how we build our bankroll, and honestly, my bankroll is a massive part of my Can I just say I say this all the time, and I know people get. So I pay my financial guy like $2,000 a year to make me 9%. On my retirement. We made 127% last year. So I have questions. I ask him every time. I'm like, why am I paying you? And he's like, yeah, your returns are better. So when you look at it from an investment and a retirement type of thing, this is what we specialize in. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much. If you could do us a quick favor, just hit the like button. Really helps us out. Say something in the comment section. That also helps the algorithm out. Just type the word thanks. Or something in there. And again, if you have questions, let us know. I'm free to talk about anything. We'll put a link for us for you guys in the Discord channel. But thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday. I'm going to fanboy here real quick. Go Pacers! Come on, Pacers! Let's bury the Knicks,
buddy.
And hopefully we'll do more of these shows going forward as well. Hopefully, Andy, right? So.
Yeah, I think we're going to try and do one of these once a month. Yeah. They're going to be for all access clients that have 30 days or more. So this one was free, obviously, for everybody. But once you get 30 days or you get 365 days, we'll do a lot more of these. Analytics have shown that these are really, really nice. And, being able to talk to you guys, not necessarily one-on-one, but just being able to talk to you guys and answer questions about this, is really important. So I think we timed this perfect, Dan. We're like right at an hour.
Done. Well done.
Absolutely. I did that on purpose.
Rare we cash the under.
All right, guys. Have a great Monday on Memorial Day. Wager Talk today will be live on Monday, so we'll be breaking down the games. This is a sports betting business, and we don't take days off. So thanks very much, guys. Take care. Good luck in your place, and we'll see everyone later. Bye.
Good luck.